quite useful.
Ego.
Ego. Wakarimasu ka?
What's up, guys?
Shlimes, I'm back again with another
Reaction video.
sir. So guys, if you're new to the channel, please do yourself a favor and subscribe because you're not gonna be disappointed.
Yes, sir.
And for those who don't know us, I'm William Tesley. Catch me on IG, and on our platforms is William Tesley.
And I'm Marcus Kitchen on I just crazy _ identity.
And I'm Chris. Catch me on IG as Tesley Chris. And if you really wanna follow us, you can find our handles in the bio description.
Instead of wasting your time, graduating to Unspoken Rules of Japan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And shout out to Inika Adventures.
Yes, sir.
So for this video, recently we reacted to a video that had a lot of false information as we read in the comments, and
we really apologize for that.
Really apologize. It was very offensive to a lot of people from Japan, and they said
The guy in the video was talking false
information. So we don't know, we're just looking.
We're curious.
We're curious.
To get to know the country.
To get to know the country for future travels and future references in case we do travel to Japan, which we will in the future soon. And yeah, we're just trying to get to know more about the country, and we don't really know what's right and what's wrong, what's true and what's false.
So that's why
we
watching such kind of videos to get information,
to get good knowledge about the country. Yes, sir. So we're trying our best to find the best video with the most accurate information, and
of which also it will help to get links from you guys from the right sources.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And this video had a lot of positive comments, and that's why we decided to react to this one. Hopefully it doesn't have any false information like the other one, but if it do, we would really love for you to let us know what's true and what's false. I don't know, without wasting your time,
let's get into it.
Japan is a unique country with a distinct culture, climate, and a rich tapestry of unwritten rules and traditions. And while many of these will be foreign to travelers,
guys, please let us know what festival is this?
What
is going on? What's going
on?
And
what does this symbolize there? Maybe it has a deeper meaning to it. Just let us know, guys.
Yeah. Please let us know.
For a short time, there are some clues that you need to know so you don't get into a sticky situation while having the trip of a lifetime.
That's the worst thing
living in Japan.
Get yourself into in a different country.
That will ruin your whole trip.
Yeah, definitely. So it's better to know what to do beforehand
and then what not to do.
Yeah.
For many years, here is what I wish that I knew before coming to Japan. Number 1, carry cash at all times. This felt very strange to me at first, coming from a country where I wouldn't feel comfortable carrying more than 100.
Carrying cash.
I feel like that's unsafe. Maybe in Japan it's different.
Yeah, but don't let us know why. Because he as well said it was.
He thought it was strange.
It was strange
because obviously you think it's strange to a whole different country. You wouldn't want to carry cash. You want to carry card. It's much more safer.
Yes, sir. And not just because it's a different country. From your various places, you usually use cards lately. It's more modernized that way.
Dollars for fear of losing it or getting mugged. I now feel uncomfortable going anywhere in Japan with less than 30,000 yen. In fact, most Japanese will carry 50 to 100,000 yen or 372 to 745 US dollars in any given.
In cash, how much is that in stacks, bro?
Damn. So
what's the highest note in Japan? What's the highest note?
So that
50
means
to 100K.
So that means in Japan,
so $745 is 100,000 yen.
Damn. So that means in Japan, even if you carry a bulk of money, it's not a problem, because here, if you carry a bulk of money, they question you.
You're gonna be questioned why you're walking around with such a large amount of cash. Yeah, so that's why most people prefer card.
Now in Japan, I feel like it's a whole different story.
Damn.
Time. Japan is a safe country, and while that doesn't mean you shouldn't be careful, carrying any less than 30 to 50.
Is that 10,000?
Yeah.
10,000 bill.
Wow.
Damn.
Imagine.
Is that the highest note?
Imagine.
10,000 on one note.
Here it's 200. That's the highest.
200 is the highest note.
Damn.
10,000.
Wow. In one note,
bro. One note. That's actually 40,000. Yeah,
bro. If not 5.
Full net.
Because it looks like it's 5.
It's
dead
more
notes.
than.
Okay, it's more
Damn, you're carrying $1 million in your
than.
hand.
Literally, bro.
Damn.
Literally.
1,000 yen could result in you wasting your valuable travel time searching for an ATM, as many establishments will only accept
Okay,
cash.
makes sense.
Japan
makes sense.
is
There's
adopting.
less ATMs in Japan, so that's why
And most people accept cash only. Only.
So that's why.
So you waste your time looking for an ATM while they will take your time. You know, instead of you exploring, enjoying yourself, you'll be wasting your time looking for an ATM. Damn, you know, this comes as a surprise to me. I thought Japan was like more advanced in cash payments
and
digital.
digital
They were more in digital payments rather than cash payments. So for me to hear that there are more on cash payment than digital payments, that's actually surprising.
And I also feel like this tells you that the country is safe for you to carry such amount of
cash.
money.
The country is very safe. To be walking
must
around
be
with such a large amount of cash.
It's crazy.
More credit card and smart pay options, but outside of major cities, these are few and far between.
Don't
And while
forget to
talking
remember
about
that
cash, that brings us to unspoken rule number 2. Don't hand money to people. Money is rarely passed directly from hand to hand in Japan. When paying, you will often see a small tray, unless you're paying by an automated machine. So place your money on that
That's very sanitary.
Uh-huh.
That's very safe. You know, very clean.
Yeah,
You don't just pass it hand to hand. You put on a plate or something that's they provided for you to put on the money. And yeah, that's very nice.
This is very different.
You
Hey,
take the
bro, take the
cash.
cash. You been counting.
Yeah, but still, But at the end from of the hand day, to
you
hand, still the same thing.
yeah.
You put it there, she'll still take it and hold it.
Yeah.
You know,
But there's
I
like a
think the
sanitizer there. So
It's the sanitizer, but I
it's
don't
still
know.
the same.
I don't know. Probably it's not for sanitary purposes. It's just for respect. Because if it's sanitary, then you still hold the
You
cash.
still
Hold the
the
cash.
cash,
Any bacteria or germs
still
on the
gonna
cash
get
will still be transferred to you, regardless. You know, and plastic holds a lot of germs. So how many people place money on that plate daily? See, you never know. But as long as there's even if it's sanitizer, it's still the same thing. But I feel like it's more of a respect type of vibe. But anyway, let's.
Tray, and you should receive your change and receipt on the same tray. There will be some situations where this is not the case, however. If you cannot see this tray, then handing money to the cashier or putting it on the counter is fine. Also, I have noticed that in some more friendly regions of Japan, such as Kansai's Osaka, the cashiers will often...
To be honest, if I had to go to Japan and I see a plate, I wouldn't know. I'll just hand over the cash.
I
Honestly.
thought
maybe the plate is for something else, probably food or something.
Bruh,
I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know, bro.
Unless there's someone in front of you, then you see how it's processed.
But if you're first in line, then obviously
it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
But you see, that's why it's very advisable to watch such videos.
hand your change to you personally, provided you're a foreigner, or it is somewhere more convenient to do so, like in a taxi. And speaking of taxis, number 3. Don't open or close doors when using taxis in Japan. In the past,
Don't open or close doors when using taxis in Japan.
So what? They'll open for you and close for you?
Wait, let's see.
Try not to open.
Don't open or close doors when using taxis in Japan. In the past, Japan's taxis were smaller, and the drivers would open the door for passengers as a sign of respect. But as cars became larger and streets busier, a solution was needed for the rapidly developing country. In 1964, when Tokyo was hosting the Olympic Games, a solution was found: the automatic car door. It might feel strange for you to not close the door after you, but if you do so, then the door may not close correctly, and the driver may be unsure if it's safe to proceed. To enjoy this feature and not inconvenience your driver, just don't open and close the doors. The only exception
closes for themselves. All cars or all taxis only have automatic doors.
I feel like it's taxis because it's specified taxis.
So all taxis have automatic doors. That's crazy.
That's very
modernized. I wouldn't mind that. We don't have that this side. No, we don't have that this side. That's too advanced.
Boss vibes.
Boss vibes. Presidential vibes.
This is the front seat, which might not always be automatic, because it's typical for Japanese to only sit in the back seat of a taxi unless traveling with a large party. However, I also don't actually recommend that you use...
but not all. No, you see, not all front seats. It's typical for Japanese. Not all front seats are automatic.
So it's mostly back seats.
Okay, so if you are sitting in front, then you'll have to open for yourself.
And there is it's typical not for Japanese passengers
Unless
to sit
they're
in front and
traveling
stand.
with a huge crowd.
Taxis in Japan, unless you have no other option. Taxi services in Japan is by far the most expensive form of travel. A trip from Narita Airport to Shinjuku, in the heart of Tokyo, will cost upwards of 28,500 yen, or $212.
$212 for transportation.
Wow.
Damn, that's crazy. That's really expensive.
so-
Why is it expensive? Why
It's
is it
because of the
expensive?
cars, or I don't know.
So that means if you're going to Japan, you should really budget for transportation to get to places.
Or maybe if there's a way to rent out a bike.
A bike or a
Or
car.
a car, because damn,
Because-
transportation
Or
200.
maybe if you have friends there with cars.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And now you might see why my first tip was to carry cash on you at all times in Japan for just such an emergency. Trains and buses are a fraction of the price. And unfortunately, Japan has no real form of ride sharing due to taxi lobbyists. Using Uber in Japan will just summon a normal taxi to your location with the normal price. Number 4, the language barrier. A common concern for any traveler is, will you be able to communicate and find your way while traveling in Japan? And fortunately, you don't really need to worry here. In an effort to increase international tourism, Japan has updated nearly every directional sign with both English and Japanese.
That's fine. That's very accommodating to everyone. Wow. You know, most places you won't find this. You have to
find
start
this.
asking or use Google Translation.
But this it's all in
This
English.
is all in English.
Fire.
Makes it
Fire.
easier.
Makes it
If all
extremely
countries
easy.
could do this, then yeah, you'll really have a good time there, without asking people and disturbing people on the streets.
Combined with modern apps for navigation and translation, it is quite possible to travel and even live in Japan without knowing the language. That said, there are a few phrases that are incredibly helpful and only take a few minutes to learn. Sumimasen will be the most useful word you've ever
Sumimasen.
learned. You can use it to say sorry, excuse me, or get someone's attention.
Sumimasen. Excuse me.
Sumimasen.
Or sorry or excuse me. Means sorry or excuse me. So
get
to get
someone's
someone's
attention.
Attention. For example, if you are at a
Sumimasen.
restaurant and want to order something, stick your hand up and say
Sumimasen.
Sumimasen to get the waiter's attention. This might feel a little awkward at first, depending on your
Sumimasen.
Sumimasen.
Okay, sumimasen. I'll remember that.
culture, but this is how the locals do it. Almost everyone will have heard the phrase
Arigato.
arigato.
Thank you. Yes.
Arigato.
Arigato.
This one we heard it from be first.
Be first.
Arigato.
Arigato. Arigato.
Arigato. That one won't leave my head.
Arigato.
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 Sumimasen. Sumimasen. Arigato. Okay.
But you can make this more polite by saying arigato gozaimasu. Hi means
Arigato.
yes in Japan, and
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, yeah.
I feel like Japanese is
Easier.
much easier to learn. Hi.
Hi.
Arigato.
Arigato.
Sumimasen.
Sumimasen.
while yeah is taught as
Yeah.
no,
No.
it can
Yeah.
sound a
Yeah.
little
Hi.
harsh.
And
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes is
Yes.
like
Yes. Yeah.
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 Hi.
Instead, you can say daijobu, which means
Daijobu.
it's okay, and can also be used
Daijobu.
for no instead, such as
Arigato.
Daijobu. I'm
Daijobu.
okay.
I'm
It's
okay.
okay.
It's okay. Can also be used as no thanks.
No thanks.
But how come?
Like I'm okay.
I'm okay.
No
I'm okay.
thanks.
thanks.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
I'm okay. It's okay.
Daijobu.
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 I'd love to learn
Daijobu.
Japanese.
Daijobu.
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 Now, we're actually-
Arigato.
Guys, please,
Arigato.
please,
Daijobu.
yeah, guys, please, please send the link to a video that teaches us a bit more of Japan, Japanese. Yes.
jazz. If someone handed you something, you
Arigato.
could say daijobu. It's
Daijobu.
okay, I don't want it. A couple
And
of
it's
phrases
easy to
that are
read.
useful are
Ego.
ego, wakarimasu ka?
Ego.
Ego.
Wakarimasu.
Ah!
Ego.
Ego.
Wakarimasu ka?
Wakarimasu ka?
Do you speak English?
Ego.
Wakarimasu ka?
Okay, that's one to keep, because if you wanna ask someone if they're able to speak in English, like you approach a Japanese person and you wanna ask them
Ego.
if you speak
What
English. Ego wakarimasu ka? Ego wakarimasu ka?
Wakarimasau ka.
Okay, so you
Masau
say,
ka. Wakarimasau ka.
Wait, let's
so you say hi. Ego wakarimasu ka? Hey.
Ego
Hi.
wakarimasu ka.
That's it. Hi. Wakarimasu ka?
Okay, wakarimasu ka?
But I said it so
Arigato.
nicely.
Phrases that are useful are
Ego.
ego, wakarimasu ka? Do you
Wakarimasu
speak
ka?
English?
Wakarimasu ka.
Ego wakarimasu ka?
Wakarimasu ka?
It's like you carry mascara.
Eh,
Ego.
Wakarimasu ka?
wakarimasu ka?
Ego. Wakarimasu ka?
Ego. Wakarimasu ka?
Say hi, ego. Wakarimasu ka?
Ego. Wakarimasu ka?
Ego. Wakarimasu ka?
Japan is nice. Huh?
Japanese.
Japanese is nice, bro. Damn.
Crazy.
Wakarimasu ka?
Phrases that are useful are ego
Wakarimasu
wakarimasu
ka?
ka? Do you speak English? Doko desu ka? Where is?
desu ka?
For example,
Eh?
toilet.
Doko
Doko
desu ka?
desu ka?
Doko
Where is the
desu ka?
toilet?
Where is the toilet? These are common words that you need to learn. Eh?
Doko
Tore, doko wa,
Doko
desu
desu
wa,
De-
desu
Desu
wa
ka?
ka?
Desu ka?
What?
Doko
Doko
desu
desu ka?
Is desu ka? Doko desu ka?
English. Doko desu ka? Where
Doko
is?
desu ka?
For example,
Where is?
toilet.
Okay, that is where is. Doko desu ka?
desu ka?
Doko desu ka?
Is
Where
the
is?
toilet?
Hey, doko desu ka? Where is the toilet?
Doko desu
Toilet
ka?
is one of Japan's many loan words, and that is a secret tip to communicating in Japan. If you find yourself in a
Arigato.
tricky
Dore,
Ego wakarimasu ka?
dore desu ka?
Wakarimasu ka?
Ego waka,
Doko desu ka?
Wakarimasu ka?
wakarimasu ka?
Wakarimasu
And
ka?
that is a secret tip to communicating in Japan. If you find yourself in a tricky situation, you can attempt to elongate a word to see if it makes sense in Japanese. For example, credit card becomes kureijit kado. Kureijit kado.
It's not as easy as we thought. Korejit
You can read it easy.
Korejit
Kurejido
kado
kado.
wa di daijobu desuka.
Dejabu desuka. Where is the kado? But it's so long.
Bro, it's long.
Korejit kado wa daijobu desuka.
Desu ka?
Guys, yo.
Desu ka?
Wow.
Damn.
For example, credit card becomes kureijit kado. Kureijit kado wa daijoubu desu ka? Is credit card okay? Starbucks.
Bro, already learned.
Bro, he speaks fluently. I can hear it in the sound of it.
Would become Starbucks.
Starbucks. Okay, that's easy.
Starbucks.
Starbucks. Doko
Where are you?
desu
I'm
ka?
at Starbucks.
Starbucks. Doko desu ka?
Doko desu ka?
I'm at Starbucks.
Doko
Doko
desu ka?
desu ka?
Starbucks. Doku desu ka? Where is the Starbucks? Number 5. When not to
Starbucks.
travel.
Doku desu
Japan
ka?
has 4 beautifully distinct seasons, each with unique experiences for anyone's travels. But there are
snows in
2 times
Japan.
in the year that I just don't recommend visiting Japan, and that's Golden Week and the Obon season. Golden Week happens in spring from April 29th to May 5th.
Have you seen that tree? That the spring. Is it? What are they called? These trees? Is it
The cherry blossoms.
cherry blossom trees? But what are they? Spring. What?
Autumn
Autumn.
spring.
Autumn leaves. No.
Spring.
Okay.
And is made up of 4 national holidays: Showa Day, Constitution Day, Green Day,
Constitution Day. Green Day.
but not that one, and Children's Day. Depending on how these fall during the year, they can be anywhere from a couple days off to a full week or even a 9-day vacation for workers taking 2 paid days off, making it the busiest time in the year for people getting away from work. Roads are crowded, trains are packed, and
Oh, these
hotel
are the
prices
days not to
skyrocket
visit.
as the
It's
nation
packed.
collectively lets off steam
Can't
from
get
the year.
around
The
very
summer
easy.
festival of Bon is a similar situation, although people will typically visit their relatives during this time. Its exact dates change every year with the lunar calendar, but it is roughly around mid-August. Summer is also my least recommended season. As much as I love the hot weather, temperatures routinely exceed over 36 degrees or around 97 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's very hot.
That extremely
I
hot.
thought only Africa gets that hot.
100% humidity. This oppressive heat carries a real risk of heat stroke if you're carrying bags around or visiting many tourist destinations while traveling, and anyone that is not used to this type of climate should rethink travel during this time. This isn't the only inconvenience to traveling during Japan's national holidays,
Damn,
as depending
Then
on
what's
your
the
location,
Japanese
bank
population?
ATMs
What's your population? Damn, because there's a lot of people here.
Bro.
It gets very crowded.
But you get to make a lot of friends and
friends.
connection, eh? I love that. I wouldn't mind traveling on any of those days
Even
because
if
I
it's
feel
busy.
like it's something to experience. You know, you just don't take it from someone telling you not to travel.
In South
Rather
Africa,
go and
we're not
experience
as
it
crowded
yourself
like that in South Africa, so it'll be a good experience.
to make a lot of friends and connections.
ATM corner.
can even shut down during the holidays as well, because they need a vacation too, apparently. My own bank actually does this, but it shouldn't
That's
be a
why
problem.
you should carry cash more than and digital cash.
Problem at convenience stores. It's worth keeping in mind, however, and another reason why carrying cash with you in Japan is so important. With that all said, there are a couple benefits to traveling during Golden Week and the Obon season, as this is the time of year you can see carp streamers called koi nobori flying for Children's Day, or the beautiful summer lanterns honoring ancestors during Obon. Number 6, don't forget a towel. Well, at least consider bringing a small towel or tissue. Many Japanese bathrooms across the country won't have paper towels to dry your hands because most Japanese people carry a small hand towel with them. Much has been written on the subject of towels, and they are about the most massively useful thing an interstellar hitchhiker can have. You can even use them to reserve tables. Of course, you don't exclusively need a towel to take advantage of this unwritten rule, but any item you place on a table, be it a bag, phone, laptop, hat, or just about anything in your pocket signals that the table has been taken. Personally, I wouldn't recommend...
Fire. I love that. I love that. You know, a lot of people just want to take over your spot. So if, like, they see anything on the table,
towel or
anything, even a
in your
ring,
pocket, even
a ring
something
signifies that the table has been occupied. That's fire. That's respect.
Respectful.
You know? A lot of people wouldn't even care. They'll come and take the phone off the
If
table.
they actually move it, bro.
You can't do that in AC. You can't leave your phone or anything on the table. It's gonna be taken. If the phone and the table with
Bro, literally.
and leaving any valuables lying around like
So
this.
that's also another way of telling that Japan is extremely safe and respectful.
Yeah.
But every day people in Japan do this, confident that their property will be there when they return. Now, even if you don't take advantage of this rule, it's good to know, because if you see a lone table with no one in sight, with a bag or a phone resting on it, you don't need to assume that it's lost property and try to return it to the shop or police station. Just leave it be. Etiquette in public. One thing you will notice in Japan compared to other Asian countries is that it's very quiet. People won't talk loud on trains or even on the street, provided they aren't coming out of a bar. Japanese
What did you say?
they don't talk loud on the street.
won't talk loud on trains or even on the street, provided they aren't coming out of a bar
Provided they aren't coming out from
or
a
police
bar.
station. Just leave it be. Etiquette in public. One thing you will notice in Japan compared to other Asian countries is that it's very quiet. People won't talk loud on
Everyone mind
trains
their
or
own
even on the street, provided they aren't coming out of a bar. Japanese society is...
Unless they're coming out of a bar, then okay, that's more understandable. But besides that, everyone minds their own business. It's extremely quiet and peaceful. Wow, that's wonderful. That's why in most of their
Concerts,
concerts,
they
they don't really make noise.
They watch.
They
They
allow
respect
the-
other people's peace.
Yeah, they allow the artist to do his job and they respect that. Fire, I love it. It's very
that's unique.
respectful.
Very unique.
Extremely
You don't get that
respectful.
elsewhere. You know.
Wow.
focused on not making a scene and avoiding confrontation, so be mindful of your surroundings, as people likely won't tell you if you're being a disturbance. For trains which get very busy, make sure that your backpack isn't hitting anyone. Japanese people will take off their backpacks or wear them on their front just to make sure that it's not interfering with anyone. You should also yield your
Very
seats for the
respectful.
elderly or the
I love
pregnant,
that.
but this is true in every country. For taking photos in public, try not to focus on any one person in particular, and watch out for no photo signs that appear on private streets. When receiving an invitation in Japan, you should take it with a grain of salt. An offer to go somewhere like a barbecue or hiking next week is really about a 50% chance of being a real offer. If the offer isn't presented with doing it immediately, or an exact future date and time is provided, then it really isn't an invitation at all. Just a nice thought that they had. Likewise, if you offer to do something in Japan with a local and they say maybe, they really aren't interested in it at all. If they are, they'll either say yes or they'll ask when and where. But rarely, if
They're
ever,
very specific with their
Answers.
schedules,
straightforward.
right?
Yeah.
They're extremely straightforward with their schedules. They don't, beat around the bush, but then they let you know, sort of indirectly, but let you know already that, nah, I'm not really interested in a way.
will they give a flat out no? Don't be offended by this, it's just a cultural thing. You'll definitely notice how clean Japanese streets are, but at the same time, and somewhat perplexingly, is the lack of trash cans on the street. The only place you ever really see trash cans is at train stations or places where food is sold, such as festivals or...
And I love the way they put everything in categories, like bottle, plastic, all the different types.
And
That's
the good
fire.
thing is that the
separate
citizens
them.
abide to the rules.
here it's also the same thing, but
you
people,
find the bottle in the
bro,
plastic in the paper.
People don't respect
street
street laws, bro.
Convenience stores, and this leads to why people say it's rude to eat and walk while in Japan. Eating while walking means that you'll drop things like crumbs or wrappers as you walk, or be forced to keep your trash with you in your pockets or bag. This is why you'll often see Japanese people eating outside of a convenience store and then run back inside to dispose of their trash before moving on.
Beautiful.
Wow.
That's why the country is extremely clean. You know, the citizens of the country take care of the country, bro.
This doesn't always hold true, however, and it is common to see people eating and walking during street festivals, which are common throughout the year. If you see many of these stalls while exploring Japan, you won't need to worry, and there will be temporary trash cans out for the occasion, so you won't have to carry your trash too far. It's worth mentioning here that Japan isn't just fish and rice. Some people assume that Japanese people eat fish every day, and because of that, people who don't like fish are adverse to traveling in Japan. This really isn't the case though. Of course, sushi is a popular and famous dish in Japan, but there are all kinds of food to suit almost every diet. Fried chicken, soups, noodles like ramens are among the most popular. It is, however, important to
That's what I want. Ramen from
Japan, the origins of ramen, bro. I wanna taste that. I love fish.
Damn.
So me going to Japan
everything
would be
that
everything, bro.
I
love everything.
We love that.
Wow.
We eat anything, you know. We eat anything.
Anything and everything eatable. Guys, no,
that
we
looks
have to go
nice.
to Japan. You know, Japan was okay, still is like a first on the traveling list. But I still need to draft my
There's
list.
still a lot of
There's
places
still a
that you
lot
have to
of
put
places.
number one
But
to
then
the-
Japan,
and, you know,
Tokyo specifically.
It's in the top three, let's say.
top three, yeah.
Top three for sure.
Yeah, top three for sure. Tokyo specifically. Damn. And I want to go to the village of Japan and
Really?
go
Yeah.
deep in the village and you know,
Experience the life there,
experience the
bro.
life there, the raw life of Japanese culture, bro. Wait,
Dressing,
bro,
Japanese attires.
I really want to do that. It's so I love the culture. It's very damn unique.
be aware of what you eat. If you have any allergies or are vegetarian or vegan in
No
Japan,
allergies.
Japanese
No
restaurants are not
allergies.
very flexible, and they usually won't substitute items on the menu or make alterations if they contain an allergen. In most cases, they will recommend you to try eating something else, and waiters will usually not understand exactly what is in the food being served, and list of allergens will not be displayed on
What is
It
that?
looks like a dragon, but what is that?
Bro?
It looks
Godzilla.
like but that's a meal.
all store menus, so be careful about this. Many Japanese also do not quite understand the concepts of vegetarianism or
Let's
veganism
fish.
as well, and will recommend fish if you tell them that you don't eat meat. Also, many sauces used in Japanese cooking contain animal products, which makes it very difficult to find vegan options in Japan. If this is a concern for you, then I recommend getting an app that shows restaurants that cater to your diet before coming to Japan. This might be one of the most important tips. Before coming to Japan, it is imperative to check if your medication will be allowed. For most travelers, this won't be a concern provided you're only bringing less than 1 month's supply and you have a prescription on you. However, Japan is very strict when it comes to over-the-counter painkillers that might be fine in your country, and certain medications are outright banned. You can check online for a list of these before you depart, but under no circumstances bring any recreational drugs into Japan. The penalties for doing so are incredibly steep, to the extent that hard drugs can land you in jail for upwards of 3 weeks without allowing you contact to the outside world. Don't mess around here.
Damn.
Almost a month.
Almost a month, bro. I'll
That
make sure I'm
kills
not
your
taking
whole journey, bro.
bro. I'll make sure I'm not going with any specific medication, bro.
Drugs.
If I know I'm on medication, I'd rather stay till I'm okay. I'd rather not go that side if I need a medication.
Or do my research on which medication I
To
can
use that side also.
Wow, 3 weeks, a lot.
Wow, it's a lot,
no any
bro.
communication from outside a foreign country.
And how long is your visa? That's the question.
Yeah.
So basically maybe
To ruin your whole
your
travel.
Tourists must carry
Vacation.
passports with them at all times in Japan. You might be worried about losing it, but if you are stopped by a policeman while in Japan, you are required by law to show them your passport. And while I've never actually seen this happen before, it's better to be safe than sorry. And on a positive note, you can actually take advantage of tax-free shopping outside of the airport at certain
Tax-free
stores,
shopping.
which will give you a flat 10% discount when presenting your passport. A simple saving that you should not not deprive yourself of when traveling in Japan. Make sure you remove your shoes when appropriate. Japanese people usually do not wear shoes inside, and having comfortable, easy to remove shoes is important so you can quickly slip on and off your shoes without slowing down people behind you. So don't wear any complicated laces. It's very easy to
I love that part of Japan's laws. I love it because, you know, not just because it's respect, but shoes also carry a lot of gems
Yes, sir.
So you don't have to take that
inside the cribs. So yeah, that's
that
very
stays outside,
that's very respectful and very
hygiene.
as well. You know, when I get my own cribs, like my own cribs, that's the same thing I'll do. If you
No
come
shoes
to my
allowed.
house, no shoes allowed at all. Come in wearing socks and, you know, just for hygiene purposes. I don't want no, you know, funny business.
Come
I don't
with
know.
your indoor flops, something like that, you know.
Yeah, you know, I really like this. I'll adapt this, you know, this.
tell which places require you to remove your shoes because they will often be marked with a step and there will be slippers for guests. When in doubt, just look at what the other people around you are doing. And there will also be a sign or a shoebox to show you the way. Don't worry, you don't need to take off your shoes when you go to McDonald's or anything. Last tip is simply do not tip. Japan is not a tipping culture and it's seen as rude. I know some people will think that it might be nice to leave a tip even though it's not the culture, but leaving a tip at the restaurant will actually cause them stress as they will seek to return your money. The only situation you will ever tip in Japan
It will cause them stress.
Bro.
Return your money.
Bro.
Wow.
That's why it's safe.
Wow.
That's why it's very safe.
Wow.
I'd
Shout
love
out to
to live in a
Japan.
country like this.
Shout
Damn.
out to Japan.
Shout out
I love it.
Shout out to Japan.
is if you see a tip jar, and then it's purely optional. Ultimately, you don't need to be too worried when coming to Japan. People here are very considerate and understand that you are from a different culture. Everybody makes mistakes when traveling, and it's really part of the experience. But if you do your best to be considerate and polite to others, they'll notice, and any of the small mistakes that you make won't matter that much at all. If you found this helpful, then leave me a like, comment with any of your tips below,
Zero.
and if you're planning a trip to Japan
Arigato.
and don't know where to start, then you need to check out my guide of how I would spend my first trip in Japan here.
Arigato.
Arigato.
Shout out to Anika Adventure. This was a beautiful.
This was an
and
adventure to watch.
Important video actually.
important video. Very.
Because there are so many aspects here that if we didn't know and we
would
got
have
it,
done.
we wouldn't a lot.
Like
I really
going
see myself doing a lot of wrong things.
handing
bro.
over,
Going in the
Shoes,
handing over cash,
tipping.
handing over to the counter instead of putting it on the plate. You know. Medication.
loud in
type of
I'm loud in
medication,
public.
talking loud in
I'm a loud
public,
person, guys. So yeah,
talking loud
this
in public.
this was very.
This was very advisable.
advisable,
I
for
really loved this
video. It's
video.
way
and
better than the previous one because there's a lot of positive vibes in here.
and yeah, we'll definitely check out more of his videos. Since
Drop the link if there is
If there's any
other
other,
video
yeah.
you'd love us to watch. Drop the link down below, and yeah, we'll make sure to give a review on that one.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure, yeah.
arigato if you made it this
Arigato.
far.
If you made it this far, don't
We
forget
love
to
you
like,
guys.
Comment,
share,
subscribe,
and all that good
and
stuff.
don't forget to turn your notifications to notify every time we drop.
Yes, sir. And catch us on the next one.
Cause we are out of here. Do say there.